I had no idea my quiet life would change forever that morning. One unexpected phone call, one small decision, and suddenly everything I knew was turned upside down. It all began when I inherited 47 acres of land from my grandfather, a place that wasn't just dirt and trees, but a treasure trove of memories, family stories, and decades of hard work. I had always dreamed of returning one day, just to walk the paths I remembered as a child and feel connected to my roots again. After 3 long years, I finally made the trip, excited and nostalgic, hoping to find the peace and connection I had been missing. But the moment I turned the corner onto what used to be our forest, my heart sank. I could hardly believe my eyes. 60 fully built homes now stood where the tall pines once swayed, with paved roads cutting through the land and streetlights casting a sterile glow over manicured lawns. Families were moving in, carrying boxes, laughing, and completely unaware that this was my grandfather's land. I froze, my chest tight, unable to speak, and then I saw her, the HOA president, striding toward me with the kind of confidence that felt like a slap in the face. She introduced herself as if we were strangers and told me they had developed the land legally, waving a piece of paper she called a deed. My blood ran cold as she smiled, explaining that they had acted in the community's best interest, but I knew instinctively this wasn't right. These homes weren't just built on land, they were built over memories, over years of family history, over the quiet sanctuary I had loved. For weeks, I tried to fight back, sending emails, making calls, and speaking to their lawyers, but the more I pushed, the more resistant they became. Their legal team was massive, cold, and unyielding, and with each passing day, I felt my hope draining away. I stayed up nights, poring over old documents, searching for anything that could give me leverage, my mind racing with what ifs and worst case scenarios. And then, in the quiet of my small study, I found it, a hidden clause buried deep in my grandfather's original deed that no one else had noticed, something that changed everything. It was a loophole, a silent declaration that made their construction technically illegal. My hands shook as I realized that the power had shifted. I could take them to court, and this time, I might actually win. The days that followed were a blur of legal filings, strategy meetings, and long nights thinking about the consequences. I let them continue with their construction, pretending I was defeated, while secretly preparing the evidence that would ultimately turn the tide. The tension was unbearable. Every phone call from the HOA's lawyers made my stomach twist, and every night I lay awake imagining what would happen if I failed. Finally, the day of the court hearing arrived, and I walked into the room feeling a strange mix of fear, anger, and determination. As the judge read the verdict, I could hardly breathe. The deed was invalid, the development illegal, and the HOA had no choice but to pay restitution. Relief, triumph, and disbelief washed over me all at once. I had reclaimed not only the land, but a piece of my family's legacy, proving that patience, careful planning, and persistence could overcome even the most daunting obstacles. Standing there, looking over what had once been my grandfather's forest, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude and reflection. The experience taught me about resilience, justice, and the importance of standing up for what is right, even when the odds seem impossible. In the end, it wasn't about revenge or money, it was about honor, heritage, and the courage to fight when it mattered most. My grandfather's land was more than property, it was a symbol of legacy, love, and sacrifice, and I would never let anyone take that from me again. This story is fictional and shared only to teach a moral lesson. And as I walked through the quiet trees that were slowly reclaiming their space, I realized one thing. In life, it's not the obstacles that define you, but how you face them, with patience, courage, and unwavering determination.